श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम अखंडानंदसंबोधः नंदनात् यस्य जायते गोविंदं तमहं वन्दे चिदानन्दतनं गुरुम्. So we were seeing after a gap स्वेन अनुभूतं स्वयमेव भक्ति सुषुप्तिकाले शून्यभावम् तत्र स्वसत्ताम् अनवेक्ष्य मूढः स्वस्यापि शून्यत्वम् अयं ब्रवीति. The existence of self in all the three periods of time. The three periods of time we are referring to is Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. So, he said, Svena Anubhutam, by himself it was experienced. When during the deep sleep, he experiences himself in the deep sleep. And he is the one who is seeing the absence, the non-existence of things. And he decides that there is nothing there. Even though there is a seer, he himself says, svayamanyalokaiḥ, he himself declares there is nothing, it is only void. He declares void of himself also. Like we said, when we say person to enter the next room and see the empty room and see what is there in it, he comes and declares there is nothing. But when you were there, there was something, right? We don't realize that. So, it is like that, catch-22 situation. They'll say, how many pancakes, let us take pancakes. How many pancakes can you eat in one empty stomach? 10, 15, 5. Each one according to their own idea they'll say. Whatever they say, even if they say one, challenge them. You can't. You can't eat. Even one, you can't eat in an empty stomach. I can't. Right? The moment he breaks a portion of that and eats it, swallows it, you can declare yourself to be a winner. Why? Now the stomach is not empty. Similar to this situation here. When you are there in the room or when you are there in the deep sleep and you are seeing something, you can't declare it is empty because there is a seer. That is the idea. Okay? avedyamānaḥ svayamanyalokaiḥ sauṣuptikaṃ dharmamavaiti sākṣāt buddhyādyabhāvasya ca yotra boddhā sa esha ātmā khalu nirvikāraḥ avedyamānaḥ svayamanyalokaiḥ sauṣuptikaṃ dharmamavaiti sākṣāt buddhyādyabhāvasya ca yotra boddhā sa esha ātmā khalu nirvikāraḥ yaha anyalokaiḥ avedyamānaḥ. The one who is not perceived by others in the world, by anyone in the world. Swayam sākṣāt sauṣuptikaṃ dharmam. Yaha, the one, the self, which is not understood by anyone else, or the one which is that attribute of deep sleep which cannot be understood by anyone else. It can be understood like that. See, the self cannot be understood by anyone else because there is nothing other than self. A. The deep sleep experience which I have cannot be experienced by another person. That is also possible. So, I myself am experiencing svayam sākṣāt sauṣuptikaṃ dharmam aveti. I myself experience the attributes or characteristics, the nature of the sushupti, deep sleep state. Okay, that one who experiences. Ātmā buddhyādyabhāvasya ca boddhā. He does not experience the characteristics, the nature of the sushupti, deep sleep. Not just that. he also experiences the absence of buddhi, etc. buddhyādyabhāvasya cha boddhā. He also experiences the absence of intellect, etc. Sa esha nirvikāraḥ ātmā khalu. Sa esha ātmā nirvikāraḥ khalu. This ātmā definitely is without any transformation. When you are not associated with any of the transformations, when you cannot be associated with any of the transformations, then you are transformationless. Definitely. That is why he says buddhyādyabhāvasya. That is a very beautiful word. He understands the absence of intellect, etc. This deep sleep and dream state are blessing. Though the yogis will say deep sleep state and dream state are obstacles, we also accept. But this is a blessing for Vedantins. Why? Without the deep sleep state and the dream state, you cannot establish the experience of self, the non-duality of self. See, there is a doubt. buddhyādyabhāvasya. Based on this, I am explaining this. There is this doubt which all these half-baked Vedantins will have. Why I say half-baked is when you are still stuck up with the creation aspect, you are half-baked. So they are stuck up with this doubt. What is the doubt? It's a beautiful doubt actually. I realize, okay. After I realize, I have an accident. Okay. What's the doubt? After I realize I have an accident, in that accident, I am hurt in my head. Okay. And because of the head injury, I forget everything. I forget everything. Like in the movies. Who am I? This who am I is not pertaining to the self. The question is not regarding this self. The doubt is regarding this body sense organ complex. Who am I? Where was I born? Who is my father? What is my name? All these questions. I forget everything, right? So the doubt is, when the realized one forgets everything, should he start from scratch? Because he forgot. This is the problem for people who are stuck up with the creation and stuck up with the experience of self. Because once you understand the self, there is nothing other than self. That is why Tathaivātmano, etc. text very clearly says, Chandalo va supacho vapi grihe. Whether he dies in a crematorium or in the house of a dog eater or in Kashi, Kashyamba, in Kashi, the auspicious place, does not really matter. Whether he is awake or asleep does not really matter. Whether he is doing something or in coma does not really matter, because once you understand the truth, all these buddhi, etc., intellect, etc., are null and void for us even before it is. But once you understand, there is no intellect, etc. They are all jada, inert. How can the inert experience anything? There can be no possibility of any existence of other thing, anything other than self. You understand that. Once you understand that, you have awakened. Not from the, not the awakening. I'm talking about the waking state. Once you have awakened from the deep sleep, the dream state, does whatever happened in the dream state bother you? You had an accident, you forgot everything in the dream state. Does it bother you after you wake up? All those things which you experience in dream state become null and void. Similarly, all this which you experience here become null and void. They don't really matter. Okay. Now he says, yasyedaṃ sakalaṃ vibhāti mahasā tasya svayaṃjyotiṣaḥ sūryasyeva kimasti bhāsakamiha prajñādi sarvaṃ jaḍam hyarkasya vibhāsakaṃ kṣititale dṛṣṭaṃ tathaivātmano nānyaḥ koyam anubhāsako anubhavitā nātaḥ paraḥ kaścana yasyedaṃ sakalaṃ vibhāti mahasā tasya svayaṃjyotiṣaḥ sūryasyeva kimasti bhāsakamiha prajñādi sarvaṃ jaḍam hyarkasya vibhāsakaṃ kṣititale dṛṣṭaṃ tathaivātmanaḥ nānyaḥ kopi anubhāsakah anubhavitā nātaḥ param kaścana yasya mahasā idam sakalaṃ vibhāti. Yasya mahasā, because of whose mahasā means great effulgence, because of which great effulgence, self-effulgence, self. Idam sakalaṃ vibhāti, all these are illumined. Tasya bhāsā sarvaṃ idam vibhāti, Vishuddhi declares. Because of its effulgence, all these are illumined. So, that because of whose effulgence all these are illumined. Example, sūryasyeva svayaṃjyotiṣaḥ, that's self-effulgent like the sun. What? Sun is self-effulgent? You just said that. Because of whose effulgence everything is shining, illuminating. How can sun be effulgent? That's a beautiful question. That's a proper question. But the answer is that we are accepting the sun to be effulgent in the sense of the world. In the world, we see the sun to be self-effulgent. There are two states of nitya. One is sāpekṣika nitya, other is nirapekṣika nitya. One is eternal relatively, the other is eternal absolutely. Sāpekṣika nitya is a relative eternality. Nirapekṣika nitya means absolute eternality. So, like with reference to the ātmā, the Shruti says, ākāṣavat sarvagatascha nityah, self is all pervading and eternal like a space. How can space be eternal? ātmana ākāṣa sambhūtah, from the self through the ignorance came into existence this space. When ether is something which is a product, any product cannot be eternal. That is very clear. Yad kritakam taddat anityam. Whatever is created, that is non-eternal. Simple logic. Ether, space is created, therefore it is non-eternal. Then why does the Shruti say, is the Shruti lying? No. The Shruti is declaring it to be eternal, which is eternal not permanently, absolutely, but in the sense of a relative. Everything merges in its cause. So, Vayu, which is the cause for the other elements, merges in the ether. Ether is the only thing remaining before it also gets merged in the ignorance, which merges in the self. Right? So, that is the first cause for all the other elements. Therefore, it is eternal. Okay? So, svayaṃjyotiṣaḥ, that self-effulgent like the sun. Tasya bhāsakam iha kimasti. What is that which can illumine that, whether it is self or it is sun? What can there be something which can illuminate? In the world, the LED torchlight, or in Rishikesh, I have not seen here. In Rishikesh, they have this DJ lights. In the marriage and all, they have this light which will shoot. It will also illuminate the stars probably. Like a powerful torchlight, LED torchlight can illuminate the stars also probably. That's that powerful it is. The beam is that powerful. So, he says, even that cannot illumine, need not illumine the sun. See, this is the funniest thing about the LED bulbs. The LED bulbs are very powerful in the darkness, but they don't shine anything. They don't illuminate anything in the light. When there is light, even a simple light, like those tube lights, when it is even when there is a little bit of light, it will illumine more, but not the LEDs. So it's a funny thing. Now, kimasti loke. What can there be something which can illumine the existence of sun or the self? Nothing. Why? Intellect. Prajñādi sarvaṃ jaḍam. The intellect, etc., are inert. Inert cannot illumine anything. Hyarkasya kṣititale nahi dṛṣṭaṃ. There is nothing which is seen to illumine the sun, etc., in this world. Kṣititale, in this world. There is nothing in this world which can illumine, which is seen to illumine the sun. Okay? Tathaivātmano. Similarly, there is nothing in this world. Kṣititale, again you can take it. In this world, there is nothing ātmā ātmana, that which illumines the self. Because everything else is inert. Jada, inert means, jada means it does not have any existence. Okay? So, nānyaḥ kopi na, there is nothing other than self. Nātaḥ, therefore, as there is nothing other than the self, paraḥ anubhavita kaścana, there is no one, there is none to experience the self. This very clearly declares the self cannot be experienced in the sense of the experience of things. When we say we experience things, we cannot experience the self in the same way, because what is that through which you can experience, or what is that which experiences the self? Because this Shruti very clearly declares the self to be self-effulgent, the self to be of the nature of experience. Yes, sākṣāt, aparokṣāt, brahma, it is immediate, always immediate. It cannot be mediated, understood through something else. That is why we cannot desire for the experience of self. Because who and how do we experience that? There is nothing other than self. So how can there be experience of self? Okay? So, येन अनुभूयते सर्वं जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु विज्ञातारम् इमं कोनो कथं वेत्तुमर्हति. So he declares again, येन अनुभूयते सर्वं जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु विज्ञातारम् इमं कोनो कथं वेत्तुमर्हति. येन, because of which Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sarvam Anubhavyate. You experience, through which you experience in the waking, dream and deep sleep state. Everything in the waking, Sarvam Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Anubhavyate. Everything in waking, dream and deep sleep state. All the objects are experienced in the waking state. All the objects are experienced in the dream state. The ignorance and the absence of things are experienced in the deep sleep state. Okay. So, Imam Vijñātāram, this knower, Kono Veditumarhati. Who can understand it? Kathamba Veditumarhati. How can he understand it? Through what and how? Both what and how cannot be possible, because there is nothing other than the self to experience anything. Self is of the nature of experience. There can be no experience. If you hanker for experience, there is no point. Sarvasya dāhako vahnirvahnārnānyo'sti dāhakah yatha tathaivātmano jñātuhu jñātā kopi na drishyate. Sarvasya dāhakah vahnihi. Vahnehe na anyo'sti dāhakah yatha tatha ātmanah jñātuhu. Jñātu ātmah. Jñātā kopi na drishyate. Yatha vannihi sarvasya dāhakah. In the world, we see the fire to extinguish everything, to destroy everything, annihilate everything. In Kenopanishad, it is said, when there is a yaksha, when there is a divine being which presents itself, the deities who are enjoying their victory as their own victory, they are surprised. Who is this divine being? So they send the deity of air, Vayu, go and see who this fellow is. Vayu goes and he declares himself to be Vayu and Matrishva. And when Yaksha asks him, what is the greatness? What is your greatness? He says, I can just blow everything away in a second. Okay? Then the Yaksha presents a small dry grass in front of him and says, now blow this away. Tanna sarvajavena adatum shakyate. He could not blow it away with all his power, all his might. He tried, nothing happened. So he returns back. Then they send, okay, fire, you go. Fire goes, and what is that? Who are you? I am fire. I am Agni. What is the greatness? I can burn anything to ash in this world. Okay, burn this small grass. Nothing happens. So, fire can burn everything, but nothing can burn the fire. Nothing can burn the fire into ash. Okay? Sarvasya dahakaha, vannehe dahaka anya nasti. There is nothing which can destroy the fire. Which can destroy the fire in the sense of which can burn the fire. Tatha jnatuhu ātmanaḥ jnata kopi na dṛṣṭate. Therefore, similarly, the self, jnatuhu ātmanaḥ, the self which is the knower, for that self which is the knower, jnata kopi na dṛṣṭate. There is no other knower which is possible, which is seen here. Self is the knower of everything. You cannot know that self through anything else. Everything else is jada, you know. I already said. Upalabhyeta kenayam hi upalabdha svayam tatah upalabdharantara bhavat nāyamatmano upalabhyate nāyamatmā upalabhyate upalabhyate kena ayam hi upalabdha svayam tatah upalabdhuhu antara abhavat nāyamatmā upalabhyate. Swayam upalabdha. The self is the experiencer of everything, knower of everything. When this is the situation, I am kena upalabhyate. How can you experience this self through anything else? I am this self through anything else. Kena, to what? Through which can you experience it? Through which can you grasp it? You cannot grasp it. That is why Kena Upanishad very beautifully says, Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yat vachoha vachamso pranasya pranaha chakshusha chakshurati muchyadhiraha pretyasmat lokat amrita bhavanti. The self is that which is the seer of the seer, the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, the prana of the prana, the mind of the mind, etc. When one understands that self, which is mind of mind, etc., after death, pretyasmat lokat, after death from this world, amrita bhavanti, he becomes eternal. He becomes deathless. So, whatever you see, the cause for that is the self. Okay? So, through which can you experience that self? Upalabdhu antara bhava, tatha upalabdhu antara bhava. Therefore, as there is no other seer, there is no other experiencer. There is nothing which can grasp it, because everything else is non-existent. Therefore, I am ātmā na upalabhyate. This ātmā cannot be grasped, cannot be understood, cannot be known. But buddhi, etc. is there. Let's see that. Buddhyādyabhāvasya ayameka eva supto navashyate shrunoti navetti kinchit sauṣuptikasya tamasa svayameva sākṣī bhūtvā tradrṣṭati sukhena ca nirvikalpaha. Buddhyādyabhāvasya ayam eka eva supto na pashyati shrunoti na vetti kinchit. Okay. sauṣuptikasya tamasah svayameva sākṣī bhūtvā atra tishtati sukhena ca nirvikalpaha. Supto, in deep sleep, buddhyādyabhāvasya, the intellects, etc., which are the objects, they are merged in the self. They disappear in the self. Because vedya, the objects, they merge in the self, the ignorance. I am eka eva. This self remains without any duality. Therefore, kinchit na pashyati, he does not see anything else. Na shroti, he does not hear anything else. Na veti, he does not understand, know anything else. Sauṣuptikasya dhamasah svayameva sakshi bhūtva atra nirvikalpa sukhane tishtati. Sauṣuptikasya tamasah, the ignorance, tamasah, darkness, darkness, ignorance, the ignorance in the deep state, of the deep state, in the deep state. Svayameva sakshi bhūtva, he himself becomes the witness, unattached, non-associated. Until there is sākṣya, object, there is ignorance, which is the object here. He is the sakshi. When there is no object, there is no sakshi. Okay? So, atra nirvikalpaha sukhena cha tishtati. When there is no object, there is no association with the object. Darkness, he does not have any association. Therefore, he remains as the witness. When there is no association with the object, then he becomes transformationless. Nirvikalpaha, without any transformation. When there is no transformation, then there is only bliss. Change, transformation is the pain. When there is no change, there is no transformation, that is only bliss. Sukhena chitrishtati, he remains as his own self, in his own blissful nature. Suṣuptau ātmā pramānam panditottamaḥ vidusvapratyabhijñānam ābāla vruddha sammatam. Suṣuptau ātmasadbhāve pramānam panditottamaḥ viduh svapratyabhijñānam ābāla vruddha sammatam. Suṣuptau, in deep sleep, ātmasadbhāve, for the existence of the self, panditottamaḥ viduh, the learned ones, they know this. They have the proof for it. But wait. Yes. You said we'll establish everything to three pramanas: Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. The scriptures, the logic, and the experience. Yes. You have scripture to establish the existence of self, non-dual self. Fine. You have logic also to establish the existence of non-dual self, but experience. You said panditottamaḥ viduh, the superior among the learned. They know. What about me? I'm not the superior one among the learned. For you, he says, ābāla vruddha sammatam, and this is accepted by sammatam. This is accepted by ābāla vruddha, from the child till the old one. Everyone experiences this. Therefore, everyone accepts this. I experience it? Yes. The non-dual self in deep sleep? Yes. How? Swapratyabhijñānam pramānam. Your own experience. Swapratyabhijñāna. Your own experience is the proof for this. What kind of proof? Pratyabhijñāna. Remembrance. That is why he says, pratyabhijñāyamānatam lingam atranumāpakam smaryamanasya sadbhāve sukham asvāpsamityamam ayam. Pratyabhijñāyamānatam lingam atra anumāpakam smaryamanasya sadbhāve sukham asvāpsamiti ayam. Atra, here in the deep sleep, sukham asvāpsam iti. You say, I slept very peacefully, blissfully. This memory, smaryamanasya sadbhāve, this memory which exists, this is the proof. Pratyabhijñāmānatam. This remembrance is the proof, is the lingam. Lingam means the pointer, the reason. For reason for what? Anumāpakam, for the anumāpaka. Anumāpaka means anumiti jnana. See, there are two states. One is the proof, the means, and the other is knowledge. Pratyaksha, for direct perception, pratyaksha is the direct perception, is the knowledge. For anumana, anumiti is the knowledge. Inference, inferenced. Upamana, comparison, comparative knowledge. Upamiti. For shabda, verbal testimony. Shabda, that is the knowledge. Okay. So anumapaka means the anumiti jnana. The knowledge which you gain through inference is the this remembrance is the proof. Because you cannot remember something you have not experienced. That is why we use this simple logic. Ya smrtihi sa sa anubhava purvika. Whatever is a memory, that is a experience prior. Only that which you have experienced prior, only for that you can have the memory. Okay. So through that we established the existence of self in the deep sleep, which is experienced by everyone. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamadaḥ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashisyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.